Twitch chat. Hello, how's it going? Venaria, thank you for being first. Anyone else who's out there, hi. I'm Abbers. I play video games sometimes here on Twitch. I also interview other streamers about streaming on a little podcast called Why We Go Live. And that is what we're doing today. I'm going to introduce you to our amazing guest and show you a clip. Theoretically. Oh no, I closed out of it for some reason. It's always something. One moment, please. That's funny. Here we go. Okay. Now I'll show you a clip.
Hello, welcome to the zoo. Welcome to the zoo. Welcome to the zoo. Welcome to the room. Very nice to meet you. Is it pronounced Rusty Panda A?
Can I get a whiskey, please?
No.
Oh, yeah.
We have our ducks in a row. Size in it. Waiting for this freaking heartbeat to appear. Kicking your ass. It's a panda. It's a panda.
The shit shape, the good shape, and then went in the hole.
Yep.
Yeah!
No!
I solved it.
No! Damn it! He killed me!
Peter, where'd you go?
I'm underneath the box.
Oh my gosh.
This is fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
Is this so perfect? Did you just slap me and say yeet? Stop paralyzing me with your flatulence. Look at my butt.
I have no fucking idea what is going on.
Oh, the perfect ending. I love it. Rusty Panda, welcome.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How's your Sunday going?
It's going. It's happening. This is my main thing of the day, so I'm very excited. Let's just get into it. Do you remember your very first stream?
Sort of. I was streaming over on Mixer, so before the Twitch days, there was a platform called Mixer that was directly through Microsoft. And so you could stream directly from your Xbox before you're able to do it on Twitch. The fact that you're able to do it on Twitch now is only because Mixer had a service and then no longer has that service.
That makes sense.
So I was watching. The whole reason we even got into Mixer was because my husband got into a really bad accident and broke his face essentially. And so he had to get facial reconstruction, and he was laying on the couch and he turned on Mixer because he wanted to watch somebody do Monster Hunter. Okay. And we found a friend in the community, and I was like, oh, if you could just go on Mixer and find different games that you like, I'm going to go ahead and look up Sea of Thieves, because at the time we were playing before it got out of control. Mm-hmm. And so I looked that up, and I came upon this guy Papa Bear and War Maiden, and they're still they're still with me today. They moved from Mixer to Twitch as well, but they promoted for me to start streaming too, because they thought it was something I would be really good at. I talked really well. That's a great sentence for me to prove that. And basically, he sent me an Elgato capture card. Okay. He just sent me one. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm streaming now. And so I hooked it up to my Xbox because I wanted it to be done through OBS on my computer. Mm-hmm. At the time, I was using like Squirtbot and all these weird, now outdated things, but I think always Stream Elements. So that's pretty much when I first went live, was with this Elgato. I don't even remember. I think the first thing I played was Pokemon. Okay. So that's a really long, convoluted answer to why I started.
No, that's great. Well, and so when you first started on Mixer, how long ago was that?
God, he got into his accident in 2018. So since 2018.
Okay. So you've been streaming for a long while now.
Yeah. When
you look back at like when you very first started on Mixer, like if you go maybe a few like weeks or months before that, what led to your decision making of wanting to try streaming?
Yeah, definitely watching Papa Bear and War Maiden like do it, and I was kind of like, this is something that I could probably do. Mm-hmm. They were talking about how they made like some compensation from it, and I was like, that would be really cool. Mm-hmm. And so like I jumped into this thinking back before it, I was like, oh, if this is something they can do, maybe I could do it too. And then the capture card kind of sealed the deal.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
That's great. Well, and so moving from Mixer to Twitch, what was that transition like for you?
That was a very sad transition.
Yeah.
I already had a bunch of followers. I already had traction. I already had a fantastic community that I was a part of. They called themselves the Variety Pack, and it was still people that I'm friends with today that have moved to Twitch, but we lost tons of people in the not the merge, I guess it's a merge, but we lost tons of people.
Yeah.
And so it was a really sad transition because it was like, I still want to do this. But I'm starting from like almost scratch. Affiliate didn't take too long because I had the people over from Mixer who were like, okay, let's get you 50 follows. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
But it was the viewership one where like you had to have a certain amount of concurrent viewers, 3 or more concurrent viewers the entire time.
Right.
Excuse me. So that was the hard part, but overall, like it was such a sad experience.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's so hard. Like you said, like building up this really strong community, and like I think it's inevitable that you're going to lose people because often it's just like people don't necessarily want to engage with a new platform. It has nothing to do with you, you know. But yeah, that's a huge loss.
Yeah.
And I know you're not the only one. I've talked to a few people that streamed on Mixer, and it was something I wasn't aware of when Mixer was around. But it is something, like you said. I think the sad nature of Twitch kind of like taking over these things that, I don't know, Twitch benefits from these smaller companies doing something and then kind of destroys them, and that's capitalism, baby. Is what Fenaria has, the jazz hands capitalism. It's like, yes, that's it. What is the story behind your screen name?
So back when, again, on Mixer, it was just the Rusty Panda with 1A because I was the only one, and that's the only thing that mattered. And then I came over to Twitch, and there was the Rusty Panda with 2 E's who streamed last night because, of course, I followed them.
Okay, yeah.
Then there's the Rusty Panda with 1A that has my screen name that has streamed recently that I also follow.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not a tactic. I promise you. It's not a scare tactic to get my name back. It's
no,
fine.
I get it.
No, I'm kidding. I support all of them because I got my name, the Rusty Panda, with 2 A's, and that's fine with me. It's recognizable. I always say the extra A's for awesome. But essentially, my favorite color is rust. Any sort of rust color, orange color. Orange is the color for me. Not bright orange, but more rust. And so I was the Rusty Panda. My name's Amanda, so I was called Panda for like my entire life. So the Rusty Panda, that's how it happened. I thought it was so unique, and then the fact that somebody had it on Twitch already blew my mind. I was like, this is so unique.
It's the worst. You talked a little bit about your climb to affiliate. What was that like? Like, I don't know, because so on Mixer you had already been able to like monetize it a little bit, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So that like gap in time and then getting affiliate, what was that like, getting back to a place of being able to monetize?
I mean, it was okay. It's not like even in the first 2 years on Twitch did I really make any money. So it wasn't ever about the money.
Yeah.
It was more so about the fact, and I always say this to any other streamer who wants to stream, as long as you like playing video games, playing music, doing whatever you like to do, as long as you like doing it, who cares about the people who are not in your chat room? Because you're doing it anyway. If I was going to play a video game and I was going to sign on and play Power World, and I'm playing Power World and nobody's in my chat room, that's fine. I'd be playing Power World anyway. I'm not butthurt over the fact that nobody's there. It'd be nice if someone was there to talk to, but again, I'd be playing Power World anyway.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I always look at streaming, is like, it doesn't matter to me that it's not heavily monetized for me or any of that sort. it's the fact that I'm doing what I like to do, and regardless of who's going to be in my chat, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and what was it about seeing, you mentioned a few different streamers, like, what was it about seeing them do it that, like, intrigued you to do it yourself?
They had the cams. They did have cams. Warmade did not, but Blue Bear had cam, and he was just very supportive. He was just very much like, you know, this is something you could do. It's very, very easy. You know, we became friends very quickly because I was always in his chat because I was working but doing Mixer at the same time because you
Mm-hmm.
know that's how it happens.
Yeah.
Work lurk, but you know, I was in his chat, and again, he made it seem so easy, and so I was like, all right, let's get a webcam, let's do this. And
Mm-hmm.
there we were.
Yeah, love it. Well, so your first game, you think, was Pokemon. Is that
Mhm.
still something that you stream? Like, what are some of the differences between when you first started streaming and now?
Man, I can't think of the last time I did a game stream.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and that's not intentional. It's just we had this really big group community that kind of dissolved.
Mm-hmm.
And so we used to do community night every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And so now when a new game comes out, I'll pop in and I'll do a game stream because I have all the people. But I don't really like playing video games by myself when it's a community type game. Like when there's able to be more people, then I prefer to stream in that atmosphere than in the atmosphere
Gotcha.
by myself. But again, I could play Pal World and expect no one to come in because that's what I wanted to do today. But
Mm,
if I'm going to stream, I prefer to stream with more people in the room. It's just more fun that way.
gotcha. Well, and you mentioned Sea of Thieves being one of your first ones. That's a very like community driven game as well, right?
Absolutely, yes. And so like that you saw in the video there was like that. There was Goose Goose Duck that we used to do, which was like an Among Us alternative that's free.
Mm-hmm.
And it has up to like 15, 16 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was things on there like Moving Out, and so all these games that are like designed for people to do that. Totally Reliable Delivery Service was the one about the flatulence.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all just wonky. Human Fall Flat is another one.
Human Fall Flat is so fun. It's so
Right.
goofy.
It's
Yeah.
so goofy. And so that's the kind of content that I was pushing out because I
Mm-hmm.
like the goofy content. And also, it feels like when you walk into the chat room, it feels like you're with a group of friends,
Yeah, totally.
and I
Yeah.
like giving that atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. No, that totally makes sense. Well, and I think too, like, well, I'm curious, like, in terms of you kind of finding a love of video games, have you always loved community games kind of the most, or where did your love of video games come from?
Yeah, I think I always have. I mean, I played things like in Solidarity, like Pokemon and stuff like that. Um, Nintendo games were always the ones that I got into the most solid like by myself, and those are the most of the Pokemon franchise. That was like Grow, Song of the Evertree. That's like all these games that are singular but they're on Nintendo, because to me Nintendo could be like a solidarity thing that you're just doing in the background. Disney Dreamlight Valley, etc. But now when I go ahead and want to play something, and even when I started playing something, it was like GoldenEye, where you played with like three friends,
Yeah,
or even like all the way back to Nintendo 64.
totally.
That's the things that you wanted to play with friends, because I loved watching video games since I was like 4. Like,
Yeah.
like my brother would play video games and I was watching. I was never very good at them. It didn't matter. I loved watching them. I loved
Hmm.
if he'd let me talk in the background, which usually he didn't. But like I would sneak in his room and he'd be like, "You could be here if you don't talk," and I'd be like, "Okay." And so I
Yeah.
just watch it. And so that's why I think I fell in love with Twitch so easily and Mixer so easily, is because I'm just watching other people play video games, which is something I've always loved to do.
Yeah, totally.
So
That makes sense. Well, and it's funny because it's like people will often be like, I don't understand the appeal of watching someone play video games. And I'm very much like you, where it's like, I played video games with my brothers growing up, but just as much I watched them play video games.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely something that's like, I find very entertaining. Like, well, and I get really into watching people that, not only people that are like funny and entertaining, but also I get really into watching like speedrunners, because it's like a totally different way of thinking about games that like I really
Yeah.
admire and I'm not naturally good at, you know? So to me, there's a lot of appeal of watching people play video games.
Yeah, and also to find out if I'm going to like that game.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody goes ahead and buys something, and I'm like on the fence about buying it. And then I watched them play it, and I was like, "Oh hell no,
Yeah.
I am not. I'm not buying that game." And it saves me time or whatever. Or it sucks because sometimes your favorite streamers are playing that game that you really want to play,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want spoilers.
Totally.
So now you can't support your favorite streamer, and you're just like, "Oh, I guess I gotta catch up because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm never gonna see them again."
Totally. Yeah. No, that's funny. I'm like, I guess I'll put a tab up for you and mute it and not look at it, you know?
Exactly.
You mentioned that you don't do gaming streams that often anymore. What kind of streams do you tend to do?
All right, so music streams, music production streams, crossword streams, and interview streams.
Nice.
So I've kind of like gone into like the weird side of Twitch
Okay.
that isn't video gaming.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the Mixer refugees. That's right, MK.
I know. We were just talking about that.
MK's the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, so lost my train. What do I do? So I will do crossword streams if it's like a Sunday morning or Tuesday afternoon or whatever, and I'm like, you know what, I want to go live. I don't really know what to do. Let's do a crossword, and I enjoy crosswords.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a website. It's like Crossword.io or something, and essentially Planet Cat.io something. Anyway, you go ahead and it links up to your Twitch chat. And so all they have to do is just type an answer, and the answer will pop up and say that they've answered it.
How
and so it
cool.
auto populates the crossword, and you don't have to be like, oh, you're right, and and look over and type it and look over and type it. It just auto populates.
Love that.
So that was me, where I was like, it's a panda, because one of the answers was panda.
Nice.
So other streams, audio production. I just participated in something called Song Swap by Hameda, and that's a music streamer. And she basically developed this song swap where 10 of us were going to go ahead and give a song that we've made or produced or whatever, and then we randomly get somebody else's song that they've produced, and we have to cover it.
Oh, fun.
So I got Hameda's song, The Girl Who Runs the Whole Thing, and of course I'm like freaking out. And so it took a month and 5 days. That was how long we had. And it took me up to the 5th day, that month and 5th day, to feel okay about what I had done.
Yeah.
Because I'm still new to the music production world. I do everything in a program called Ableton.
Okay, yeah.
And Ableton works with MIDI controllers. It works with, they have drum kits automatically stacked in there. You can change, all the audio stuff, so you can record your guitar or record your voice or however it is. So I really don't play many instruments. I try guitar and I try piano, but like I can still sense music. And so when I'm doing stuff on the piano, I'm just doing basic chords and then repeating them. Mm-hmm. And then I can use the MIDI stuff inside of Ableton to then continue the project.
Nice.
So that's music production. The song swap went very well. I turned her very low indie folk song into a high dance pop song.
Love it. Amazing.
It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
It was a lot of fun. And then music streams where I will play either the guitar and suffer through or play the piano and suffer through, but I do vocals, and that's to me what, I do chords. I know chord progressions. So if I'm doing chords in the guitar, you'll still hear me sing, or chords on the piano, you still hear me sing. So yeah, that's a music stream. And then finally Wiki Wednesdays, which happen every Wednesday. You will be on it this Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's going to be fun.
MK is going to be on it on the 24th, so
Awesome.
they're excited as well. But yeah, so essentially what it is a talk show where we get 15 things the streamer likes, 5 things they don't. Go down the Wikipedia rabbit hole about those things and learn new things about the streamer and also new things in general. It's a wild time. It really is. Sometimes it's the streamer doesn't. Jim, the mental health coach, came on last week.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, that was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. He goes, that sounded really shitty. That was a lot more fun than the fun that I thought we were going to have. And I was like, that's better. But yeah, I mean, it's all essentially the same where, you know, I try to have fun with it. I try to make sure that, the streamer whom I'm hosting is okay with being interviewed. Some of them don't talk very well with that. Are they okay with having a camera on? Are they not okay with having a camera on? And making sure that I can use a still shot in the top right corner to make it so they can still participate. So there's a lot of, it's weird because I've been doing this for over a year now. And it's just very strange to say that you've done something for over 52 weeks.
It's amazing. It's really cool.
I've never done anything consistently for 52 weeks.
Yeah.
Like not even diet. Like I don't even know what that is. So I'm very excited to be in the anniversary time of Wiki Wednesday, and that will continue to go down more Wikipedia rabbit holes with more people.
That's awesome. Do you know what number of episode you're on now?
I should count. I should.
Yeah.
But I think it's like 38. I'd have to check the YouTube because the YouTube has every single video that's uploaded. And so whatever the YouTube number is, -1, because one of them got cut in half because OBS decided to just cut it in half. So I think it's like
OBS.
38 or something. Yeah. And yeah, Rag Your World's been on the talk show as well. He's been on Wiki Wednesday.
Very cool. Well, I first heard about you because of the Wikipedia streams. I think Chan the Magic Man saw me doing wiki streams, different format than the way that you do it. And was like, oh, I know someone else who does wiki streams. And I was like, that's so cool. So I'm impressed because when I first started doing mine, we just did a letter of the alphabet every week. So any topic had to be that like letter. And I loved it, but I got burnt out after letter Z. I was like, I need a break.
Right.
So for you to have been doing this for over a year, that's fantastic. Like it's really impressive. And I wonder too, like, what is it about the wiki streams and the interviews that kind of has you going back every week and feeling what makes it possible to be consistent with it, I guess?
Yeah. I love hearing people's stories. I love hearing the other side of the streamer. Some streamers are people and some streamers are streamers.
Totally.
I hope that that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So the persona that people might put on to kind of help with their numbers or whatever, sometimes will go ahead and get dropped and just be the person that they are in these streams. And I'm like, that's so raw. Like, that's so beautiful because, you know, I don't think that there was many people who had to drop a persona by any means, but still talking about the raw person that's behind it. There are vulnerabilities, but not touching too much on that. That's why I have like likes and only 5 dislikes because I don't go in order, and I make sure that the dislikes are not things like politics, social issues, anything like that. It's basically like, I don't like cheese and I don't like it when people jaywalk. Cool. Let's talk about jaywalking. And then they have a quip or a story about jaywalking, and that's how we develop more conversation. We look up jaywalking, blah, blah, blah. So every time the topic is different, except for things like pizza, which is a reoccurring topic and a very, very hot topic on the channel.
Is it?
It's the hot topic on the channel.
Why is that?
So I'm a pizza snob.
Oh.
I'm from New Jersey, where the only place that pizza should ever be exported from is New Jersey. I don't know where you are on the East Coast. I know you said you're on Eastern Standard Time.
I'm not actually. I'm in Colorado. I just use Eastern Standard because it's easier for people.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm in Missouri now, so
okay,
I'm
nice.
Kansas City.
Okay, hell yeah. So I'm Mountain Time. You're Central, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I was trying to use Eastern time, and I was like, I don't know how it all works, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So it's over in New Jersey. They is like the ODB. What does that mean? What does that mean, Ragger World? Is like the ODB.
My brain goes
But
to Original Dirty Bastard, which is probably not what you mean. Or is it?
or is it?
Or is it Ragged World?
Yes, from the Wu-Tang
It is! I was
Clan.
right! I was like, is that what you're referencing? Okay. All right, cool.
That's great. But the pizza is like what you saw in, if you ever watched Ninja Turtles way back when, and they pull a slice of cheese from the cheese pizza, and the cheese is dripping down, and you're able to fold it in half and it cracks, but it's still completely foldable in the middle, and it's salty and it's cheesy, and there's not too much marinara, but there's still just enough, and there's no place like home. Like, I people will be like, "Oh, my favorite is Domino's," and I'm like, "You live a very sad life." Like, if that's all you know, then that's your favorite, and I'm not gonna like make fun of you for it. But if you believe that you are a pizza connoisseur, we're gonna get into a conversation
Got
about this.
it. Okay, okay.
So I never try to put people down about how they feel about, fast food pizza or whatever. They think the pizza is good, that's fine. But if they claim that they love pizza and that they know pizza, that's when we get into a little bit of a tizzy.
I see.
Because I'm like, no, you don't know pizza. You don't know pizza. Or I'll get people like, oh, blah, blah. Yes, I've been to the East Coast. Yes, that's the best pizza I've ever been in. But like, this is great. This is great. I love this dynamic we're having right now. It's a beautiful moment. I don't.
Yeah, yeah. Love that.
So yeah, pizza's the hot topic.
Well, and for you, you said it really well, the kind of like weird side of Twitch. Like, where did your ideas kind of come from? What inspired you to go more into the realm of like crossword puzzles and music production and, wiki streams?
So I was mainly inspired by this streamer called Tipsy Rue. He was a puppeteer.
Cool.
He had a talk show every Sunday called Hello and Good Morning. And he had a little doll that was whose name I can't even think of right now, but he was a literal puppeteer. Like, this guy was good.
Yeah.
And he had a little puppet thing that was all about like evil and going to set things off in an evil way and blah blah blah. And that's why it's Hello Good Morning. And so you talk to him and he'd have like this very opposite approach, but it was still like very comical. And so Tipsy Rue, would also do crossword streams. And the crossword streams would be, somebody types it in chat and then he goes over and puts it into the crossword, right? And so everybody's participating, he's putting it into the crossword, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, okay, I really like that. That's really chill. Like, that's something to really chill out. And then he had this segment called Wiki Wednesday. And what he did was bring a streamer on and we talked for like 3-4 hours. That's why I made sure that mine was only 2.
Yeah.
Because we talked for like 3 or 4 hours, and how he did it was basically just in general format, more like this. And then as things came up, he would search things. But the problem is that when he was searching, he wasn't always paying attention. And I always wanted to be where I'm paying attention to the guest, and the search is a part of what the guest is saying.
Yeah.
So that was a different format. But Tipsy Rue ultimately was from Mixer, moved over to Twitch, ended up getting a job, and like never came back. And I was like, hey, I'd really like to do your Wiki Wednesday format and change it up a little bit. Is that okay with you? And he like never answered. Like, he disappeared into the atmosphere. But Variety Pack, which he was a part of, was like, you can go and do it. Like, I know Tipsy Rue would be fine with it. So I got the blessing of Variety Pack, and I went ahead and I started, and it's been successful ever since.
That's awesome.
But the weird side of Twitch is definitely funny for me, because everybody goes, oh, Twitch, the video game format. And I'm like, not quite. Like, there are others out there that are
definitely.
not just chatting and video games, and I looked at like the stats for like what is on there. There's more art streamers than there are music streamers.
Interesting.
which I did not think was true. So
Yeah.
I must be heavy into the music community because I thought that I was surrounded by music, but apparently I'm in my own little bubble of this own little world.
Well, to be fair, Twitch is so oversaturated that, like, even though that statistic is true, there's still however many musicians on Twitch, right? So
Hmm.
it might be a small bubble comparatively to everything else going on Twitch, but it's still a pretty big bubble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I love every single music streamer that I come across. But Weird Twitch is magicians. And
Yeah.
I am a mod for all four magicians on Twitch.
Nice.
And I wore a shirt to TwitchCon that said "Ask me about Magic Twitch." And on
Hmm.
the back it had a QR code for a link tree that had all four of the magicians on there.
Nice.
And that was because I was on a panel at TwitchCon about um, being a magician on Twitch.
Cool.
And my friend Crazy Asian, who's one of the four, he was the main catalyst, and then he brought on his mod, and then he was like, "Oh, I'll take my other mod with me." And they're like, "Do you have a female?" And I was like, "This is perfect for me."
Hmm.
So the ticket was comped, which was great. I was able to go down there. We did the panel. I did the Ask Me About Magic Twitch. It was hot as balls.
Was this
It
last
was
year then, or
Yes,
okay?
yes. When in Vegas,
Okay.
oh my god, it was so hot. And it
Yeah.
was crazy because it was in fall. And they were like, oh, 70-degree weather. But this weekend, 90.
Of
Everybody.
course.
Everybody gets 90 degrees. And the musicians were outside on the
Whew.
concrete, just like sweating their balls off. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. But I met Ragged World at TwitchCon. He's
Oh,
from
cool.
Canada. And he came down and took a bunch of notes and met a bunch of people. And
Love it.
he also has an interview show, although I think he's moved to a podcast specifically now.
Hmm.
But regardless, it was just really great to meet people that I hadn't. Jerfo the music addict. No, that's not correct. Um, no, Jerfo the music addict, and he was there, and I'm his mod, and so we actually got to meet. Um, so it was cool. It was cool to meet people that I hadn't like met before, but I knew so well
Yeah.
in the community. There's one more guy, not to totally trail off. Davey's eating a sandwich. He does interviews as well,
Cool.
and he uh, organized this huge thing for karaoke in a Korean karaoke bar, and you get your own room
Hmm.
and you have the TV up there and everybody sits around in a big U shape and you go up there and you do karaoke and then the next person goes up and does karaoke. Oh my god, that was the funnest thing I've ever done and made TwitchCon totally freaking worth it.
That's
Because
awesome.
again, I was around people that I was really friends with that I didn't even know that I was going to be such friends with, and we were all doing karaoke and singing and having a good time. And I went first and I opened up with respect, and everybody's like, I don't want to go anymore. And I'm like, come on, guys, I just wanted to like belt something out because this was totally a safe space, you know.
Sure, why
and
not?
and they're like, I don't want to go, and I was like, oh god, what have I done?
Well, you know what? That leads me into another question I had. I wanted to ask, when did you first get into music?
So I've been a part of music. You know, everybody says I could sing before I talk, but like that's
Okay.
literally it. There's videos of me singing Genesis at 2 years old or earlier, where my
Nice.
dad would come in and he goes, "I can't dance," and I'd go, "I can't dance," and so that's one of the songs from Genesis, and so I would sing that back. My dad played drums, my mom sang and did tambourines, my brother did drums and guitar and bass and all of that. So I didn't get any instrument talent, but I believe that I got lyric talent and some vocals for the most part.
Nice.
And so I've been singing since forever. I went to performing arts high school.
Okay.
I did a lot of vocals there, a lot of choir throughout in middle school and below. Um, all the time singing, understanding music, and then even into going into college for vocal jazz. And then I was like, I need an actual career Like I can't do this as my career. And so
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's do music production and audio production. I started that, and then I moved to Kansas City. Well, I moved to a part of, out an hour outside Kansas City,
Okay.
and I went to school there, and I kind of lost music for a while.
Hmm.
And then towards the end of the relationship that I was in that got me to Missouri, I started finding music again, and I realized like I needed to be true to myself. And so we ended the relationship. I moved out to St. Louis, and that's how I met my husband, Galvos. Um, but music has always been such a core to me that when I lost music, I felt like I lost myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I started guitar again. I started understanding chords in guitar. I've always known piano a little bit, but I started even just recently going on something, an app, and learning more piano that way.
Cool.
So yeah, I've really always, literally always, have had music in my blood.
That's awesome. Have you been to the Jazz Museum in Kansas City?
I have.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna have fun on Wednesday. I'm excited. I didn't know you were a jazz kid, so this will be really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's great to hear. Like, I don't know. I very much identify with this idea of like having something that is so like integral to like who you are and like something that you love and kind of losing it and trying to figure out like how to get that relationship with it back somehow.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Twitch and doing music production has aided in that kind of journey for you?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of forced me to always come back to music and not just sing along to Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
I stared at my guitar for months and months and months. I was like incredibly depressed, like last year at some point. And so, for like months and months and months, I was looking at my guitar, and I talked to my therapist about it. And I'm like, I just don't understand what's wrong with me. Like, I stare at it, and then I feel guilty about myself, and then I freeze. I don't do anything about it, and then I turn to like play Disney Dreamlight Valley, like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, just do it. Even if you put the guitar back, just pick the guitar up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the hardest thing that I had to do. And as soon as I did it, I was like, okay, maybe I'll do a music stream tonight. Okay, maybe I'll go on some music production and work on one of my songs. Like maybe I'll, and it really helped promote it, but I just had such a freeze of like, I don't know if I can, because if I'm not the best of it, then why do I even try?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
that was such an attitude for me. It was like, if I'm not going to be good at it, then why am I going to try? Well, you have to try to get good at it. Like you have to, you're not just going to be great at it. It's not going to happen that way.
Totally.
So, it's taken the concept of practice, and right now all of my practice is going into the music production and Ableton right now, because I want to get my songs out. I want to
Yeah.
continue to get the rest of them on some sort of track.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and that kind of like perfectionism that you're talking about, does that show up for you with streaming in general, or does that feel more connected to music?
Probably more connected to music. I'm pretty basic when it comes to my streaming.
Mm.
We do use Video Ninja, but like I don't have the guest command or anything like that will show the guest name. I'll just shout the guest out every so often.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have my one format that I use. There's no crazy transitions. There's no nothing. Like I keep it fairly basic in my stream, and I hate that for myself because I know that it could be better.
Yeah.
But at the same token, like I'm pretty good where I'm at right now. Like I don't want to poke the bear.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Uploading a new version of OBS is like the biggest stressor for me. I will press remind me later for like
Girl,
weeks. I just
same.
opened it today. Just upgraded it today because I was like, it's way before Wiki Wednesday and I don't have to worry about it. I can fix anything
Yeah.
if I need. But I'm not going to update it on Wednesday. Like that would be
Inevitably
chaos.
it'll break something, and I don't know
Right.
why that is, but like, yeah, you're not alone. I think a lot of us are like, I'm not ready.
Right.
Let me use this version.
right.
Yeah, I don't think that you need to necessarily have all these complicated transitions and things. Like, I think that's where this kind of comparison mindset is really tricky, because it's like, I think that it's great to be inspired by other streams and things that they're doing and maybe wanting to incorporate some of that more technical stuff. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't enough or is inferior for some reason. You know what I mean? Like, I think simplistic layouts are can be just as beautiful as the most complicated ones. And I think sometimes the most complicated ones can be really distracting, and it's okay to meet yourself where you're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I try to make my opening is a song that I did with the Virtue Knot, and that's on Spotify actually. And so
Mm-hmm.
I play that as my opening. And then have this artwork that was done by Gizmo and Bunny, and I'm purposely shouting them out because these are the people that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
Gizmo and Bunny made this artwork for me for free for Wiki Wednesday. And so that's my new opening with the music in the background to show the art, but also to show the music.
Cool.
And then obviously to show the talk show that comes after that. So,
Yeah.
that's my simplistic. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm. Well, and for you, what kind of people tend to find your streams?
It's usually based off of raids and shouting out, right? Those are the two things that are going to go ahead and get you the most feedback of like give and take.
Mm-hmm.
So I always raid out after I'm done with my stream because that's how you promote yourself in a safe way and not saying, "Hey, I stream," and you're in somebody else's chat and you're just like, "Why are you so rude?" But it's kind of like, okay, I've brought my community to you. This is my sign of peace or whatever. And that person will probably shout you out, and you guys will explain what you do. And if somebody likes that concept, they'll go ahead and they'll follow you. And if not, that's fine. You still pushed your people in a positive direction to a streamer that you believe is good.
Yeah.
So that's rating. Being shouted out in general, there's one of the magicians, Infozart, excuse me, he does a shout out queue, and any single person who's ever been in his stream, if they've been shouted out before, if their name pops up in chat, it'll automatically add their name to a shout out queue. And he will go through and shout out every single person that comes onto that shout out queue in between his magic stuff.
Wow.
Because he thinks that they deserve to be shouted out. And that's how I found like certain streamers that I didn't even know existed, or that needed to be affiliate, or that was really good at music, or that I became friends with, or whatever. Give me 1 second. I have to cough real loud.
No, you're fine. Go for it.
We're good. We're good. Oh, I thought you were drinking the pink monster. I was gonna say.
No. I'd be dying. Although I do drink a lot of coffee, so I don't know what I'm talking about. No, it's just water. Well, I'm curious, with this idea of like raids and shout outs in terms of gaining a following. I guess what to you is the difference between gaining a following on Twitch and fostering a community on Twitch?
That's a great question. I want the people to like me for me, and I don't want to have to try hard to make them like me.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what being in your 30s is all about.
So true.
Right? Like, I'm tired of trying to make you like me. I just want you to like me for me. And I'll do a little song and dance and show you my personality in different ways, but I'm not going to be completely different just so you like whom I am. So I will foster the community once I know that that person is interested in being a part of my community because they understand who I am, or they believe who I am.
Yeah.
But my community is very interesting because I'm like the middle friend, right? The friend that gets like friend A and friend B together to love each other. I'm friend B. Like, I'm friend C. I'm friend in the middle. And I'm okay with that. Meaning, I'm a part of this community and I'm a central part of this community. I'm a part of B's community and I'm a central part of B's community. My community is a lot of their communities because that's where I derive from, and I'm so active in their communities. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my community being like what is that, a Venn diagram or something where you have that 3 circles and the circles meet in the middle. I'm very okay with having my small little chunk and then the rest of it be connected to the other two communities.
Yeah.
Because again, I hold such a presence in both of them.
Yeah.
So my community is a really cool one. It's a niche one. But then it's not, because I consider most of the communities in the other two to be a part of mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it kind of leads into this question of, with regard to being a mod, how did you first become mods for different people on Twitch?
Oh my God. I'm a mod for like 15 channels.
Are you really? Okay.
Yes. Yes. 2 years ago when I got my Twitch recap, it's like, you're a mod for like 17 channels. I was like,
Wow.
oh my God, I don't even go into those 17 channels. Like I was
Yeah.
modded and then forgotten about, and that's fine. So now I'm like, I'm much smaller. It's probably not 15 anymore. It's probably like 10, which is still a lot. But like I first became a mod in Bluebear's channel because he was the one who helped me got into the whole streaming thing to begin with. So he modded me. So that was my first one. Jump over to the streamer that my husband was watching when he was sick. We became, all of us, close friends. We both went down to Austin to go meet him. And I've seen him twice now. His name is Droll Bullet. And so I'm a mod for him. Then there was another one, Captain Iraq, I mod for him. Then there's the Infozar, which I mod for them. Add 4 more streamers because that's all the magicians. Then I go ahead and add for Jerfo the Music Addicts. Then I go ahead and mod for War Maiden. And so I'm about 10. So all these people that I mod for, and that I and Gizmo and Bunny. And so I am in all of those channels. Because those are the people, that's why we've dwindled down from 17, because those are the people that I care about the most, that I want to make sure that I make their streams, that I feel guilty if I miss their streams. If I know that another mod is in there, I'll usually back off and take a break, or go ahead and go into a different channel, because sometimes they overlap. It's chaos, but it's something that I really, really enjoy doing. You're technically in a mod in my stream as well. You're right, Racket. You're totally right. That happened. Oh, that's funny. So 12. We're at 12 now.
Yeah, I mean, what to you makes a good mod?
That's a great question. So for me, a good mod is understanding the streamer and what the streamer wants in the community, right? So if somebody comes in and thank you, Ragged. If somebody comes in and is harassing the streamer, I would say, please calm down. If they continue harassing, then they get a timeout, then they get banned. There's another stream in which it would go straight to ban, because they don't give a shit. They want nothing to do with people who are going to be disrespectful. It's an immediate ban. It's not. It's an immediate
I'm very
ban.
banhammer happy. I'm fine letting you see the door.
Right.
But I get that other people are not that way, and that's okay.
Yep. And so it is. It's understanding the streamer and what their needs are. The other day there was this guy who came into this one of the magic streams. I love seeing people get instantly crushed. There was a guy who came into Infozar's stream, and they're like, I was wondering if you could help me. My phone is not working and I can't call inside the US, and I was wondering if you could use this number and pick up the US. So immediately I'm like, okay, this is a bot, time it out, because he doesn't do the ban thing immediately. So I time it out for 10 minutes. Then I start getting messages and whispers. Why did you time me out? I don't understand. What did I do? And I immediately had to turn it over to one of the other mods. And I was like, I can't handle this right now. If it's not obvious that we thought he's a bot, or that he was... You don't do that. You don't go into somebody's person's chat and talk like that.
Yeah.
And he kept asking, and finally he just left, and I was like, good riddance. Like, I don't have to deal with you anymore. But I still felt bad because we don't time many people out in that channel.
Yeah.
So I felt like the bad guy. but that's just what happened in that particular channel. Other channels it doesn't even happen, and I just chill out and watch the games, and nothing bad happens.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, because bots are one thing, and they usually are very obvious, right? I recently had someone that like it really seemed like a bot. Like it was hard to tell at first, and so similar thing, timed them out. After their timeout, they typed essentially the same message. I was like, okay, ban. And they did an unban request where it was like, hey, I'm a real person. I was kind of drunk. I'm really sorry. Like, and I was like, oh, okay. Really genuinely thought you were a bot. But thank you for the
Right.
apology. So it's just funny. Like, yeah, Twitch is such a weird place, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And the power that you have over your own community is pretty great, because it's like,
Yeah.
this is me, this is my channel, this is what I respect, this is what I
Yeah.
disrespect, and you got to follow it.
Totally. Totally.
So,
What are some maybe takeaways or first impressions that you hope people get from your streams?
quite honestly, a good laugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what I, always leave them laughing. And that's one of the things that I've learned. It's just, it's, I could be talking about all the things that are about me, like personally about me, that can get a little sad, but true and fine to talk about. But I also want to make sure that, you're laughing and that you're having a good time, and that I'm laughing and I'm having a good time, and that we are responsible for also how the community feels.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I'm going ahead and I'm on a bender about, how sad it is and I'm depressed and all that, maybe I shouldn't be streaming that day. Or maybe I should ask of the audience, hey, this is how I'm feeling today. Just I would appreciate it if you want to stay, that's fine, but not to like poke the bear.
Yeah.
And that this is how, like, being totally honest with your community about how you're feeling, or just don't stream that day if you feel like you're not going to be able to hold it together or whatever. Because it's also a respect to the community, right? Your community must respect you, but it's also a respect to the community, that if I come on one day and I've got 10, 15 people in the room and I start shouting and getting crazy and getting angry at people in the chat for no reason, I shouldn't have come in that day. I shouldn't have come in that day, because that's not the community's fault. That's something that I'm going through, and real life should always come first. Always.
Yeah.
There's there's never a time that real life should not come first. And so it just again, it really just depends on educating your community about how you're feeling, and making sure that they will give their appropriate response back to you, that respect, that mutual respect. Or just don't come to work that day.
Yeah. Do you ever feel any pressure or anxiety around streaming?
All the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
pressing go for Wiki Wednesday, like the 15 minutes up to that is, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. It's just going to be crazy. It's going to, I don't know. They're probably not going to like me. They're probably all the negative thoughts that go through somebody like Millie's head.
Yeah.
And then I get on there, and by the end of it, I was like, I'm so glad I did that.
Oh, that's cool.
But going live, that pressing that button is a big deal for me. Just because I have to be, I don't want my community to see how much pain I'm in that day, or how much, how irritated I am today that I'm in so much pain, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes it's okay to go on like that and get the support from your community. But again, educating your community that you are that way, instead of trying to hide it and then lashing out at them, that's the unhealthy part. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting to me, because it's not quite the same as like a persona that we kind of talked about before, which I think is totally valid, that there are people, because it's an entertainment platform, right? But this idea of kind of what you want to present versus what is private and for you. What is that line for you? How do you navigate that?
I feel like what I'm talking about is a line. This is so awful. It's a line for other people to follow, because I will always tell my community what's going on in the beginning every single time. They know exactly how I'm feeling all the time. I feel like if you're I feel like I have no fine line. I will always be that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say, is like, I will always be that way. There's no fine line. I literally word vomit every single thing that is going on in my life. I have no shame at all. And, but other people, I feel like it can do damage if they don't understand how to, um, it's like those people who post on Facebook about their life, and they post very, very specific details, and they're very either harmful to read because you feel like you need to call somebody for them or whatever, but they're literally listing their life out, and it's just too much information. It's too much negative information.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel awkward, and I feel like maybe I have to do something, or I feel it's kind of like that. It's kind of like what you keep pushing out into the community. Is the community going to feel awkward? Is the community going to feel like they don't want to come to you that day? And if they don't, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But again, being honest with the community ahead of time, be like, I'm in this mode. Somebody could be like, okay, I'll come back at a later date because I personally cannot handle what you are going through.
Totally.
And that's okay. Like, that's what it's for, to tell your community about. So that way they can choose to leave or stay or do whatever they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
there's no real fine line for me. I pretty much say it all.
I feel like in some ways what you're talking about is just creating a culture of consent more than anything else,
Yes.
which I think is really important. And I think that
Mhm.
there are streamers who are more vulnerable and more raw, and that's part of the deal. That's part, not, I don't want to say their
Right.
brand because it's just who they are.
Right.
But it's like, I feel like I'm that way to a certain extent. Like, I'm very open about my mental health. I'm very open about what I'm going through, in a way that hopefully is not harmful, but also something that I think people know they're signing up for when they come to my stream.
Right.
And at the same time, you know, I think that there are things that feel like they need to be for me, or there are days, like you said, where it's like, this is not a streaming day. Not even necessarily with regard to what you're talking about in terms of the respect of your audience, though that I think that makes sense. But I think it is a respect for me kind of a thing, where is this taking energy from me where really I just need to be by
Yeah.
myself or whatever, you know?
Yeah, that's totally correct. Yeah.
And it's hard too. Like, how do you know? Because I think you were talking about kind of intrusive thoughts that I think a lot of us have in terms of like, I'm terrible, no one likes me, blah, blah, blah. How do you differentiate those kind of thoughts and those voices versus a day where this is not a good day for me to stream? Because sometimes it's like you want to like do it and overcome it and it'll be fine. And sometimes it's like, no, this is not the day for it. You know what I mean?
It's always okay to start a stream and then stop it 15 minutes
Definitely.
later.
Yeah.
People feel like that's like the worst possible thing you do. Don't post the VOD. No one will know.
Yeah.
If you need to, you know, if you feel like you can do it, and you go ahead and press that live button, and as you're doing it, you're having panic attacks and everything is going downhill, and suddenly you feel worse, and just don't go live anymore. Just say, hey, guys, whoever's in the room, or if no one's in the room, just be like, hey, guys, don't think I could do this today. Catch me back on Tuesday. Hopefully I'll be better.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's really great advice, and it's something that like is so hard for us to remember because there is a relationship with the people in your stream, and you don't want to let people down, right? But at the same time, like, I think I mean, you nailed it. It's like we're real human beings, and you the person is so much more important than you the streamer, and so taking care of yourself is so necessary.
100%. Real life comes first.
It's true. What are maybe some aspects of your background or your identity and just who you are that show up with your streams?
Sure. So I talk about, you know, that I went to performing arts high school, and it was very specific. It was very intense. We were with the same 20 people for 4 years. And then we had curriculum outside of that, but for the most part, like 2 to 3 classes a day were acting, voice, musical theater, dance. And we didn't have phys ed. So like we didn't have health. We didn't have driving tests because we didn't have gym. So there was a lot of different like things that we were secluded from in our own bubble, thinking that the whole school wants to come to our musical because we've worked so hard on it, and we've told everybody about it because we're also in their science class. And it's not about that. So for me, like, I let people know, like, hey, this is my background. This is, I talk a lot because I have always talked a lot because that's what you're supposed to do in this theater, is to basically be honest with yourself, be true to yourself, make sure that, but also if you have to act, then make sure you act well. And sometimes for me, I'm like, I can't act well. there's
Interesting.
there's no acting well today.
Yeah.
There's no, I know what putting on a persona is like, and I don't like it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I've learned that from school.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forwarding, I was born with a genetic disease. Hey, Jan. I was born with a genetic disease. That is a big part of my identity. That genetic disease has everything to do with, why I might not go live one day, or if I do go live, why everybody has to know what's going on with me. They basically have to know, but you said it yourself, when you're coming into the stream, you kind of know what you signed up for. And I feel like that's the regulars that absolutely know that. They know, they could see it in my face. They understand what they're about to get in for.
Yeah.
I was talking mainly about like new people, like that come in and they don't know what's up, and they're just like, oh, okay. And you're just like, hey, I'm just having a shitty day. This isn't always like this. If you want to stick around and talk, that's great. But if not, like, come back another time. It's not a big deal. But because of my disease, like I was talking to you about, I can't sit for a super long time. Like, I can go up to 2.5, 3 hours, but after that, like, my sacrum hurts. I have burning in my hands and feet and tingling in my hands and feet all the time. Headaches, nausea, other stomach problems. My kidneys are at risk, my heart's at risk, my brain's at risk. So I have to follow up on all three of those. And then just like skin problems because of the nerves. So all of those are going on almost all the time.
Yeah.
And if you know me, you know about Fabry disease, and then you know that that's what I'm going through when I go live. If you don't know me and you see me go through that, and you're like, I go like this or something, like this, because my hands are tingling or burning, they might think it's a tick or something that's going on. And so I'll be like, sorry, guys, my hands are burning. And if they want to ask a question why, then I'm totally open to telling them exactly why. But I'm also, I don't know, I don't want to say there's a form of discretion, because in my stream there's really not, but like at the same time there is. Like, I'll be doing this and I won't be like, my hands are burning because my body is hurting because it's from the Fabry disease. Like, no, I don't do that at all. But my friends will know, like, oh, okay, maybe her hands are burning, or, oh, let's just not talk about it and let her be her. And that's that line. So yeah, personal topics and regular topics are totally fine.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's your humanity showing up on stream, where it's like, this is a thing that I deal with. And so, it's going to affect how my stream is sometimes. And so it's interesting too, what you just mentioned, this kind of idea of like, it's not necessarily your responsibility as the person who's experiencing these things to educate people. But also you find yourself in a spot where you kind of have to, right? And that's the burden of, I think, being someone that has chronic illness or having kind of these like invisible disabilities and things like that. And I think this is true for a lot of different aspects of identity, but it's something that I think it's powerful to be someone that experiences these things in terms of being able to shed light on something that a lot of people don't know about. And also, it's a burden. I think it's a lot of emotional labor potentially that you're doing.
Right. Yep.
For you, with having this kind of performance background, and it seems like you're very aware of the numbers and kind of statistics surrounding Twitch. What is your relationship to the numbers and to the algorithm?
So I know them, and I really don't give a shit about them, but I know them because I think that I don't want to step in a puddle that's going to completely make my stream go away. Because my
Mm.
stream matters to me. I want that. So I keep an eye on the statistics and the rules and whatever. But at the same token, like, some of these rules are bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, some of these things, the guidelines are made so that, if they want to, and I have no disrespect for them, but if they want to be mostly naked, they can be. But if Twitch gets violated if you show your feet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are these rules?
The inconsistency of it, yeah.
Right? Like, what are these rules?
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's kind of like that, where I keep an eye on the statistics. I keep an eye on making sure that if somebody asks me, somebody new asked me, like, how do you stream?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'll be like, these are some of the things you need to know. And one of the big things, like, a lot of the big things is, I told you, play the video game anyway. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. But also, don't go into someone's chat and self promote.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing I ever learned. And if you want to say, they're like, hey, do you stream? That opens the world. You can say, absolutely, I stream. I stream Wiki Wednesdays on Wednesdays and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk in and be like, hey, I'm looking for followers, I was wondering if you would shout me out. No.
Yeah.
No, I will not do that. I will not shout you out. And I think I need you to leave my channel because you don't, that's not how we talk here.
Yeah.
So it's not a hard rule I follow, but at the same token, if somebody's trying to self-promote in other channels that I'm modding, that's when I put on those googly eyes, the Twitch emote that has the two eyes that you can use. Yeah, I usually put those up so that way they know that I'm like, that the other mods know that I'm watching this situation unfolds, because sometimes people just don't know.
Totally. Yeah.
And in other chats, I'm like, okay, let's leave it up to them. Let's leave it up to the streamer. For me, if somebody comes in, I'm a smaller streamer. So you're coming in to just do this. I'm a
Yeah.
smaller streamer. Like, it's just, don't come in here and try to self-promote for me. You're doing this in the wrong channel anyway. I wouldn't
Yeah.
promote you, and it wouldn't matter if I did.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting the kind of Twitch etiquette that you learn as you go. I think, and I also think that, like, some people are more adept at picking up on social cues and some people aren't, and that's not, their fault. It's just how our brains work.
Right.
But I do think that there is a difference between someone being like, hey, I stream too, versus, hey, want to raid me after because I'm streaming right now as well. Like,
Right.
it's I think easier to kind of like sniff out than people might think,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, this idea too of, like, we kind of talked about it before, community versus followers. And I think that there's sometimes this notion that, there's only a certain amount of followers, and so mine are mine and I can't, and it's just not how it works. So it's something
Right.
too that I think, like, I don't know, I'm curious for you, like, especially having come from Mixer with these kind of other streamers that you were connected to, like, what is networking and promotion like versus kind of having organic relationships form on Twitch with other streamers and other content creators?
That's a hard question for me. So you go into a stream, you're brand new to a stream, you talk to the streamer, they get to know you. Next day, you go into the stream, you talk to the streamer, you get to know the streamer, they talk to you. Third day, you come in, that person recognizes that you are a regular, that you are interested in their stream, that you want to go ahead and be a part of it. And you might start asking questions like, hey, are you a streamer too? Or, hey, thanks for stopping in and getting that stream streak. Hey, just recognizing that person for being consistent. And me as a streamer, if I recognize that somebody's being consistent, I'm like, wow, that person's really chill. Like, I want to know more about that person. On the other side, I just don't. Twitch etiquette has to be learned, I think. There are other people who don't give a shit about it, and that's fine. And this isn't like the pizza argument where like you can't have your pizza and you can only have my pizza. Like it's not like that. You as in the collective you can have any type of channel that you want with any type of promotion that may happen in chat and say, hey, this is fine, just please don't do this again. Just my tolerance for it after doing this since 2018, my tolerance is very low.
Yeah, fair.
It's just very low. And I'll, please don't talk to me that way, that we're not promoting streamers in here. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. That's fine. That's fine. You didn't know. You're whatever. But in one of my friends' stream, if they immediately do it, it's a ban.
Interesting.
So, like I said, it's just the tolerance of the streamer and what they believe is etiquette and what they believe you should already know is etiquette, and do your research. And that's sometimes really not fair. And that's why I said I try to give chances where chances are due. But if somebody's going to be a troll about it, then I'm not going to have them stick around.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Twitch chat, we're going to come to you in a minute here and answer some of your questions. So if you have questions for the Rusty Panda, go ahead and type them into chat and we'll get into it. You mentioned you have a day job outside of streaming, correct?
I do not.
Oh, you do not? Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Is streaming something...
Technically disabled. No, I'm technically disabled. So because of the disease that I have and mental health issues, I am disabled, which took 5 years to get, by the way.
Gotcha.
Because the government sucks. The government is awful. But yeah, so I'm on disability, and that's why I'm available all the time to do pretty much anything, which is nice. Twitch gives me that outlet as a hobby that I can do and say, like, especially Wiki Wednesday, if I'm not having a good day or whatever, meaning like if I'm not having a good day in the sense that I haven't done anything in 3 days and I'm feeling kind of stir crazy, I know that I can go on Twitch that night and I have a schedule. Somebody's waiting on me. Somebody's waiting on me and I made a schedule, so I have to be there. Then I'm going to be there. And having that notion that that it's not like, hey, I'll go live today. It's hard for me to stick to those schedules now. It used to not be hard, but now it's kind of hard to stick to those schedules because of mental stuff and physical stuff and all that stuff. But when I have somebody else relying on me and we've made a pact that this is going to happen, it's going to happen regardless of what I'm going to do. Now, if I'm really, really, really like dying, I'm obviously going to cancel the thing and reschedule it, but that has not happened yet. So I've been pretty good. Oh, I can't hear you.
I accidentally muted myself. Love to see it. Classic streamer. No, you said it. You've said it several times, and it's so true. Your personal life comes first, and you the human comes first, and that's hard. It's really hard when, like you said, you have people relying on you in something that you set up. But sometimes recently I was in a car accident, and I had scheduled a podcast for the day after it happened. And I was like, I have to bow out. Like, I can't do it. And it was the first time that I had to cancel on someone, and I felt so bad. Luckily, it's someone I'm like friends with in real life, and they were super supportive and like totally understanding. I was able to reschedule them. It was fine. And so it was this nice reminder of like, no, it's okay that you're human and human things happen. You know what I mean? But it's hard. You don't want to let people down.
Yeah.
What are some of your maybe passions or hobbies outside of streaming?
So it really just comes down to the things that I do on stream anyway. Okay. So that would just be gaming, that would be music, that would be music production, and that would be Twitch itself. I forgot one big thing. I do something called Dagger here.
What's that?
And it's a LARP, so it's a live action role play, but there is no magic. It is all combat.
Interesting.
And so I am their treasurer, the area's treasurer, and then I'm also the event coordinator
Okay.
for these 200 to 300 people events that we have every year. And it's basically like camping foam over a PVC pipe. They're checked ahead of time before they go out to battle to make sure they're not broken and unsafe. We have waivers that they have to sign that says like, "Hey, we're not responsible for any injuries that you may have." But they've got shields and swords and arrows and flails and pole arms and all sorts of things that you can imagine. They've got these, and the combat is just so cool to watch. I did do it for a little while. But then again, my body just was like, we're not doing this anymore. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, body, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got this thing. I got knighted after 6 years. I got knighted because of all the work that I did in the realm, because I was there. It's called troll, which means that you have to troll in. You have to pay me, and I'm the troll toll.
Ah.
And so, like, the troll under the bridge that makes sure that you have to get through that kind of thing.
Got it.
And so I don't dress up as that. I dress up perfectly in garb, like medieval garb type thing. But yeah, so I do that, and it's really fulfilling when I'm able to help that community, that Dagger Here community, because we're all very close. So that's my outside uh go-to community. And we're all very close, and we're all planning things all the time, and trying to do social stuff with all the people who are like hardcore nerds, D20, D&D every Friday, like those type of people who they get into um conversations, extroverted conversations, when they are naturally introverted people. And so trying to, like, how do you work around that, and how do you continue to make friends with somebody who's very introverted but they want to make friends, they're trying, so you want to go ahead and try. And it's just a great environment ultimately. There used to be toxicity, there's no more toxicity.
That's great.
And so it's really been something that's been positive for me.
That's so cool. Well, and how did you first get involved with that?
My ex, so I was in New Jersey for 2 years during college. And during that time I was dating this guy, and he eventually I was like, screw Jersey, I'm done. And so I moved to Missouri, and I had already at that point, on the spring breaks and all the times that I came to visit Missouri, I was doing practice for Dagger Here. So I would go to the big events, and I would go to that, and that's when I would fly into Missouri to go see him. As soon as I moved, then it was every Sunday, because practice is every Sunday. And my boyfriend at the time was very diehard, like very diehard. He was on track to being a knight, like he was just very diehard. And so I, of course, tagged along with him. So that's how they became to know me very much, is because I was with him, who was very, very good at doing the sport. Once we broke up, I was still a part of the realm, and I moved to St. Louis, and I said, hey, I want to be a barony of this realm. I want to participate and do Sunday practices and all that stuff. I've got a small group out here of about 7 to 10 of us, and we're going to do Dagger Here out there, but we want attendance that will go towards the attendance for Dominion, and we want attendance and all the good things, and it would just be a barony. So we created the barony, we did practices, we had fun, all that stuff. And then I moved to Kansas City, and then kind of like the barony dissolved. But I moved to Kansas City, and they're like, clearly you know what you're doing, like let's get you the ball rolling. And so I became again more power and treasurer and et cetera, but I don't fight anymore.
That's cool though that you've still been able to be involved with it, just in a different way. Like that's awesome. Let's see. MK says, question, do you agree that a calzone is just a pizza that rolled over and died?
Listen, okay. So So I believe that a pizza is a sandwich, and here's why. Nobody
Hmm.
agrees with me on this one, so it's pretty funny.
Okay.
I say this almost as a troll now because nobody believes me, and I still believe it's true. When you fold the pizza over, it's a sandwich. There is now cheese inside. There is now marinara inside. It is a sandwich. A calzone is a sandwich. Okay, you've got bread on the outside and stuff on the inside. It is a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the big thing for me, is to be like, that's why pizza is a sandwich, and everybody voted no. Everybody voted no in chat, and I was like, well, that's fine, whatever. I still believe it. So as far as it, I don't know if it rolled over and died. I think that it rolled over and became amazing, but yes,
All right.
calzone is just a pizza that's rolled over.
Okay. Love it. Hey there, Abby says, what is the hardest part of streaming?
Besides pressing live, it's knowing my limits,
Yeah.
and knowing when it's time to press done.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes I get that high where you're like, I'm doing great. This is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'm getting a lot of good feedback from chat. We've got X amount of people in chat and they're all participating, and we're going. And I'm in 6 hours, and all of a sudden I'm like, I can't move.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, I need someone to lift me up. I can't move. My back
Yeah.
is done for. So, you get that hype, but the hardest thing is, to me, just pressing live.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know what you're going to get until it happens. So
Totally. Yeah. Let's see. MK says, if you had a Q&A session about your LARPing, would it be called Ask Me Anything? It's
yes,
pretty good.
MK, it would. MK is known for his puns.
Okay. All right.
So yes, it would be called Ask Me Anything.
It's pretty good. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that works really well. Chan the Magic Man wants to know, what has been your favorite or best moment when streaming?
That's a great question and a very difficult one. I guess when I had a Wiki Wednesday, and there's a video of it where Mary Amber came on, and she's like been on the front page. She's like big, and
Mhm.
she's in Australia, and she came on and she brought a bunch of viewers. I had not had that many viewers in stream before, and we talked music and we talked songwriting. It was so chill, and then she got me to sing
Mhm.
in front of everybody after she had performed 2 songs, which was crazy because that wasn't the format of Wiki Wednesday at all. But like, she just performed songs and I performed songs, and it was just like an overall really freaking good time that I did not think was gonna happen that way at
Yeah.
all. And again, we had a bunch of people to see that. So I think that's my favorite Wiki Wednesday moment. As far as my favorite moment, I couldn't tell you, because all the community games, especially like golf with your friends, there's some really stellar moments in those, like
Yeah.
clips and stellar stuff like that. So
Love it.
yeah.
It's exciting. It is. It's such a rush. All of a sudden, you're just like, you found me. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
That's great.
Absolutely.
The Emanator says, could the calzone be a hand pie? Can I just say that I've been dating someone from the UK, and we had this big discussion about a pasty that we didn't even bring up calzones, but he had never heard the term hand pie before and thought I was ridiculous. So, the Emanator, I feel validated that you have used that term. Anyway, could the calzone be a hand pie?
Could the calzone be a hip? I mean, you have to unwrap it at that point.
Do you? Isn't a hand
Oh, a
pie
hand
just like
pie, like a pie, like a empanada?
like an empanada almost? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then I agree with you.
I think that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it makes sense. Oh man, the pizza discussion is now heating up.
I'm telling you.
MK says, a pizza is an open-faced sandwich, I guess. After all, if you put pizza on a bagel, you can have pizza anytime.
Isn't he great?
It's very good. It's very
Yeah.
good, MK.
Yeah.
Another MK question. Do you use and or are you familiar with Mix It Up Bot?
I do use Mix It Up.
Okay.
Ever since Mixer, that's the one bot that I've always had, and it's Mix It Up bot, and I do not utilize it as much as I should.
I've heard it's great. Like, it's one that
Yeah,
I've wanted to look into.
yeah, they totally like they were like Mixer, here's how to do everything, and then the switch to Twitch, they were like, let's get our asses in action, and they made it for Twitch, and it was so quick
Mm-hmm.
to do, and so I used to have it set up where like certain people would enter the room and it would make a funny noise, or certain names would happen and things would pop up, but like two things. One, I got a brand new computer and I didn't save and I lost all of my progress and Mix It Up.
Mm.
So like I lost everything
So
from Mix It
frustrating.
Up.
Yeah.
But secondly, if I'm doing Wiki Wednesday and my friend walks in, I don't want that command to go off.
Yep. True.
So the turning on and off and on and off thing is not my style. Like I just don't want to do
struggle.
it.
I get it.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah. I'm a huge Mix It Up dork, so now I can pester you for ideas. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. I know some stuff.
That's great. Yeah, hey there, Abby says, oof, pressing live is really hard. It is. It
Mhm.
is. Yeah. Yeah. Hey there, Abby. Pineapple on pizza, yes? Question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not something I go for, but if somebody had a Hawaiian pizza in front of me, I'd eat it.
Okay.
I'm not usually a fan of warm fruit though.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So like apple pie, peach pie, all that stuff, just not a fan of warm fruit.
Mm-hmm.
But cold fruit is usually okay, like on an angel cake and stuff like that. That's usually fine. But like I don't really like pies. Unless
Fair.
they're pecan pies or empanadas. Those
Okay, so
are-
like fruit pie is not really your thing.
yeah.
Okay, that makes
Yeah, yeah.
sense. Yeah. Let's see. I think that's what we got for now. What are some things that have surprised you since you first started streaming?
I think the rotation of people who come into your life and then rotate right back out again is very fascinating to me, because it's easy to leave because you're over the internet. Right? You don't have to worry about seeing them at work. You don't have to worry about whatever. They could just disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the most fascinating thing, is because we had about 4 friends that was a part of one of our communities, and they just ghosted.
Yeah.
They just disappeared. And we're like, why? And there was no explanation.
Yeah.
And so that was really, really difficult. And then there's all the people from Variety Pack who are slowly dripping away because they don't like the Twitch format, or they don't like where Twitch is going, or they don't want to press live anymore because they have different things going on in their lives.
Sure.
But it's so sad to watch them go.
It's hard.
And be like, I watched you every single day and now you are gone. So that's, to me, the hardest thing about Twitch. It's like watching your friends leave and having that like hole in your heart of like, well, I'm going to keep going, but this hurts.
Yeah, because you form very real friendships with people, I think. Well, and I'm curious too for you, like what your experience is with forming these kind of friendships, and also the idea of like parasocial relationships. Is that something that you've experienced?
Yes. So again, with meeting my friend down in Austin, and having Galvos with me, my husband, it was I thought it would be very different, but it was exactly the same. It was like we were all because we're all so genuine. It was pretty much exactly the same. There was no worries on the parasocial front.
Yeah.
But like I have met, other streamers from TwitchCon that it was really weird. It was like I was in your chat the whole time. You were the streamer. Are we friends?
Yeah.
Out here? Like in
Yeah.
there, we're really good friends, but like out here, are we friends?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't understand where my place is
Mm.
in that place. You know, I just don't understand where my place is. So,
Yeah.
uh, I was probably answering your question, but you might have asked a different one.
No, that's great. I mean,
Okay.
that's what happens is we just kind of I don't know, noodle around. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
We have a follow-up question to the pie question. Is pumpkin pie an exception?
Yes, because it is not hot, goopy fruit.
That's true. And even though pumpkin maybe technically is a fruit, it doesn't feel like a fruit to me.
No, and especially in the texture that it's at. Like
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
almost wore my Hello Pumpkin shirt today because it's the same
Ah.
color as this,
Yeah.
and I will wear it year round. I have no shame. I
Love
love
it.
I have pumpkin spice creamer that doesn't go bad till May in my fridge. You
Amazing.
know, I've got pumpkin spice cereals that I still haven't opened from fall. Like
Yeah.
I love pumpkin spice. I have a pumpkin spice creamed honey. Like
Yeah.
so good.
It's so good.
Hmm.
Love that. Yeah, hey there, Abby. It says, I don't like people leaving my life. Makes me feel icky and sad. I think the
Yeah.
hard thing with something like Twitch is that, like, most likely it has nothing to do with you, but it
Hmm.
still hurts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It still feels bad. And so I think that's the hard thing. It's like people don't owe you an explanation, but it's always really helpful to get one. And
Right.
when people leave, more than likely there's something going on in their life. But yeah, I think it's very valid to miss their presence, you know?
Especially if they ghost.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part
Yeah.
is that you don't get an explanation and they just disappear.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
It's hard. What are some things that you do maybe to get ready for stream, and what are some things that you do to wind down from stream?
So for example, on Wiki Wednesday, it starts at 7 Central. So I wake up at 6:35. I put on makeup. I brush my hair. I already have everything done. I
Mm-hmm.
usually get it done around like 2 or 3 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 4 or 5, I don't know, late. But I open up the room for Video Ninja, and I open up Mix It Up. Then I open up my OBS, make sure everything's connected, make sure everything's there, make sure that their list is cleaned out on the posted on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's all done. Go to bed. And then wake up again 6:35. Go ahead, do my makeup. Go ahead and do my hair. Sit here, make sure everything's fine. Wait for the viewer. Do all the stuff that I have to do as far as socials, and then we start.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's it. But as far as going live, I went live. I don't remember how long ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I was doing music production, and I didn't care. Hair up here looked like Cindy Lou Who. I had no makeup on. I wasn't even wearing glasses. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care. But when it comes to things like Wiki Wednesday, where I'm posting them on YouTube and all that stuff, I want to make sure that I look like a human instead
Mm-hmm.
of somebody that's just like literally looks like they came out of bed and just like, all
Yeah.
blah.
I get that. Yeah.
Mhm.
What about after stream? What do you do to take care of yourself and like wind down after stream?
So on Wiki Wednesdays, I usually eat something, usually something not healthy and easy to make. And then it's 9 when I'm done, and I go to bed at 10. So
Mm-hmm.
dinner happens for like 20-30 minutes, and then I just talk to Gablis in bed until I go to bed at 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just an easy wind down for me.
Yeah. Totally makes sense. Abby says, I formed friendships, like deep friendships through here. One can argue I was able to discover myself because of Twitch. Yeah, I think that especially since 2020, I think online friendships are so valid and real. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Rusty Panda, what is some advice that you would give to your younger streamer self?
Um, I guess, making sure that I was out there more in other streams,
Hmm.
making myself known in other streams, developing that community outside of the variety pack community.
Mm-hmm.
So finding myself in, the music community much earlier, and getting inspired that way, finding myself in, the other interview streams. And there's so many people that I had chances to meet that I never did. And
Mhm.
so I'm trying to kind of wiggle my way because I want to meet them.
Yeah.
And so, I'm kind of wiggling my way of like, okay, 7 degrees of separation kind of thing. I want to know Monica, who knows Jim, who knows Sally, because I want to get to know Sally.
Mhm.
And I would love to get to know the two in between, don't get me wrong, but I'm also trying to get to know somebody that I've very much wanted to connect with, and I believe we have a lot in common, but they don't really know I exist. So
Mhm.
I kind of have to make them comfortable knowing that I'm surrounded with their community, that I'm in their community.
Mhm.
So that's something that I should have been doing, is like finding people and not like letting myself be known, but like joining their community, like actually being a part of another community and seeing what um, friends I could be making,
Yeah.
what more I should have been doing. So,
Sure. Yeah.
mhm.
Twitch chat, thank you for your questions and just for being here, hanging out. We'll start to kind of wrap things up here.
Mhm.
What are some goals or projects that you have coming up?
Um, I want to get more into more music production of my own songs. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the next step that has to happen. Um, and then I'm booked out till the 27th of April, 24th of April, and I think I'm going to stop and take May off because May is just chaos. May's my birthday, May's my anniversary, May's all this stuff. I've got concerts, I've got going to Florida, I've got my mom wanting to do an
Oh, yeah.
Airbnb. Like, I've just got a lot going on in May. So
Sure.
I'm gonna call it at April 24th and then just come back in June and do it that
Yeah.
way.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we'll go ahead and finish with a little tradition around here. So, I have a 10-question questionnaire
Okay.
inspired by James Lipton, Bernard Pivot, and CJ the X. So, just kind of quick and dirty off the top of your head, the Rusty Panda with two
Okay.
A's. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Let's
guess
do
three
it.
A's, technically.
That's what people say. And they're like, with 3 A's.
It's
I'm
like
like,
actually math.
you're gonna totally confuse everybody.
Yeah. Okay, two A's at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Which game or activity do you love to stream the most?
Activity to stream the most. Activity would be Wiki Wednesday, but if it
Mhm.
was a stream or something that I like to share the most, it would probably be like crosswords. That one's my favorite.
Okay. Yeah. Which game or activity do you hate to stream the most?
I probably hate to stream like Forza and Sea of Thieves and all that stuff. I'm not into those games anymore, and so I don't stream them.
Yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
That's a really weird question for me, the way it's stated. But what makes me spiritually, in terms of Twitch, would be the viewers
Mm-hmm.
being supportive and continuously coming back. I think that really makes it a good experience for me.
Yeah. What turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Counter that, so people who come in and just troll,
Mm-hmm.
that just drives me crazy. I just don't understand how people can be mean and troll. I don't get it. I don't understand that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Which streamer would you like to meet most in real life?
I probably love to meet Captain Erock. He's one of the big pinnacles of Variety Pack in our community. His channel is flawless as far as things to do, and he's got a fish thing that you can go ahead and type a fish, and it happens in the top right corner, and you could actually reel in a fish and get points for it. You've got all these different sounds and AI and everything, and he's just become a really good friend. We also play D&D together,
Oh,
but
nice.
he is just a really good friend of mine, and he's up in Michigan.
Okay. Yeah.
So
What is something that you would like to try on stream but never have?
I'd probably say like to try on stream. I mean, I'd like to do a karaoke thing where that way I won't have to worry about the music in the background and I could just sing karaoke, but I didn't know if that would be like really awkward or strange if just me singing along to karaoke tracks.
I don't think that'd be awkward and straight. I've seen streamers do it, and it's kind of fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is something that you would never want to do on stream?
Sorry. Never want to do on stream. I mean, be drunk or be, under the influence or whatever and come on stream and be like, hey, this is me. Because, like, I try to be as sober as possible when coming onto streams, especially like Wednesday or anything, because I don't want people, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't want people to feel weird or like that I'm the weird drunk aunt who's like slobbering all over the place. That's not me. I've never done that, but to me in my mind that's what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah. Why do you go live?
I go live for myself, mainly to show that to show that I have the capability of not only expressing myself through a positive communication, but also to remember, like with VODs and stuff, that I accomplished something that day. So,
follow-up question: why do you really go live?
This is cute. No, I really go live just to talk to people and to be a part of something. I think that's really great.
Yeah, love that. All right, final question.
Okay.
You're on your deathbed. You know exactly how much time you have. You have any and all resources available to you. Viewer count doesn't matter. Commercial viability doesn't matter. None of that matters. What do you do for your final stream on Earth?
Final stream on Earth, specifically, not on Mars.
Well, in this plane of existence, maybe. Yeah.
No, I final stream would definitely be like one of my birthday streams. That's another good memory, by the way. I had a birthday stream through Animal Crossing.
Oh,
and
fun.
the 7 other people came into the island or whatever, and we all ran around and did birthday stuff, and they had the balloons things and all that stuff. So I think I'd do another one of those, just to have a little celebration stream and have it be virtual, so that way it could be like everyone's involved.
Cute. That sounds amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
The Rusty Panda, thank you so much for being here. It was really lovely getting to know you. I'm very excited and very honored to be a guest on your stream on Wednesdays. So
I know, it's going to be good.
If you're not already following, change that immediately and go follow the Rusty Panda. Please, I beg. You don't want to miss all the fun and cool stuff that she's doing. So go do it. With that, I would love to raid somebody that you love and kind of pass this crowd of beautiful people on to someone that you follow. Is there anyone online that you'd like us to raid?
I know right now that Hameda is doing track reviews. She's the one who did the song swap, and I believe Chan is over there as well doing his song swap thing.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I wanted to go follow Chan. Let me make sure there's nobody else that I'm missing here. Yeah, let's do Hameda. So
perfect. Can you type that into chat for me? And Twitch chat, here's a little raid message that you can copy paste and let Hameda know that Rusty Panda sent us.
HAMMETA.
Sweet, thank you. There it is. All right, perfect. So, Twitch chat, please let Hameda know that Rusty Panda sent us. If you like this sort of thing, we do Why We Go Live every other Sunday-ish. And if you happen to be a streamer or know a streamer that you would like to be a guest, you can email whywegolive@gmail.com. You can follow Why We Go Live on all the socials. Rusty Panda, thank you again. Really appreciate you.
Yes.
With that, we're raiding. We're out of here. It's happening.
All right.
And we are no longer